Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our webinar for today. My name is Elky. I'm your speaker for today. Okay, so our today's section is part of our ongoing series. Okay, this is the first webinar on this series whereby we are trying to run a series called Stop Trading 101. Basically, we will try to have a number of series webinars sharing to our viewers, audience, clients, okay, to grab some of the strategy and also the methodology to trade these Bursa Malaysia markets. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Elky here today with you guys with on this thematic strategy opportunity from Super El Nino 2026 to 2027. Okay, for any one of you that haven't joined my section before, I'm the head of Retail Link, and I'm the in this industry since 2012 until right now. Okay, so based on my experience as a former futures trader, uh, equities dealer, and also prop traders for the past 10 something years, okay, I'm gonna share with you guys some of the ways and also um market interpretations and also methodologies and on how to able to tap into this strategy and also these upcoming events. Okay, so welcome to our section today. Okay, um before I start with our section today, I'm just gonna start with disclaimer. Okay, while we are sharing some of the facts and figures um, that are available publicly, and some of the trading ideas that share right over here, they are mainly my opinions. Okay, so if you believe into it and you intend to trade with it, okay, you can always double check with us, or you can talk to your dealers or reminders before taking action into it. Okay, yeah. So what we're gonna talk about today, if um if that's it's about this event. Okay, imagine if there is this event that it can affect your food prices, your commodity prices, inflations, your economy, even your electricity supply, earnings, all this. Don't you think that it worth like our 45 to 60 minutes of today, okay, this hour, okay, to look into what is this event and how it can affect us. Okay, so this event that I'm talking about is called El Nino. Okay, and today with these sections we will explore how this event gonna affect us and how we can actually get prepared before the full implications, full market reactions kick in. Okay, yeah. So today our agenda is very simple. We're just gonna start with what is this El Nino about, and then its impact, and of course what are the stock sectors that we can watch, and also how it has been affecting our markets. Okay, then finally we will go to the Q&A sections. All right, okay, so if you're ready, then we're gonna start our section for today. Okay, so the very first questions, maybe some of you guys will be asking, hey Elky, why is this El Nino getting so much attention? There are articles, there are people talking about it, or maybe you haven't come across with this El Nino, then you might be wondering why I purposely put up this El Nino for this year. Is it a one-time event or is it what? Okay, so basically what's is gonna happen right here, okay, and is this year we are expecting one of the strongest El Nino in the history. Okay, and this El Nino, the impact, it will be very very strong. It could be really very strong, and it could really affect every one of us. Okay, yeah. So if you come across some of the articles, okay, you can see that they are even there are a lot of articles talking about the El Nino, and even before it's really taking the full impact of it, we are seeing some of the signals, some of the flooding, all these things happening all around the world. Okay, yeah. So I think for me, I would think that this is one of the key event that could happen, and we really want to look into this event and see what are the opportunities that could arise from this. All right. Okay. Yeah. So what is El Nino actually? Okay, so in the coming video, I'm gonna share with you guys a video, a very short video, to explain to you guys what is this El Nino actually is. Okay, in a very simple way.
Warmer or colder than average ocean temperatures in one part of the world can influence weather around the globe. Boggles the mind, right? Here's how it works. During normal conditions, trade winds, which blow from east to west, push warm surface waters towards Asia, piling it up in the western Pacific. In some years, though, the trade winds weaken. The warm surface water moves eastward and reduces upwelling of cold water off the coast of South America. Climatologists call this El Niño. Its climate impacts show up mostly in the wintertime over North America. The warmer ocean fuels an intensification and southward shift of the jet stream. This brings flooding to the southern United States and warmer, drier conditions over parts of the Pacific Northwest, northern US, and Canada. But eventually, those trade winds pick up again and sometimes become even stronger than normal. When that happens, they blow the warm water back into the western Pacific and restart the upwelling of cool water towards the surface in the eastern Pacific. These strong trade winds are a signature of what is called La Niña, unusually cold conditions in the tropical Pacific that displace the jet stream northward. La Niña can lead to drought in the southern U.S. and cooler temperatures, heavy rains, and flooding in the Pacific Northwest. El Niño and La Niña together are part of a cycle that influences extreme weather and can impact food production, water supply, and even human health, not just in the U.S., but in many parts of the globe.
Yeah. So that I hope that video doesn't confuse that video doesn't confuse you all, because it's not only talk about El Nino, but it's also about La Nina as well. So basically El Nino and La Nina, both they are climate patterns. Okay, and some of them they call it now El Nino the boy and the La Nina the girl. Okay, because they kind of like opposites each other. Okay, but today we're just gonna focus on El Nino. Okay, Malaysia wise, we do face El Nino and La Nina, uh, um, both. Okay, but not together. Okay, some years we had El Nino years, some we have La Nina years, but El Nino, it tends to happen more frequently. Okay, yeah. So basically, we can see that from the video, El Nino itself, it is a climate pattern whereby we are seeing the trade wind it move differently from the usual. Okay, whereby most in normal time it blow the trade wind blow east to west. Okay, and we are seeing the warm water it will build up near Asia, which is near our sites at the west. Okay, and as the warm water it build up, we are seeing rain gonna follow, and hence we getting more rains. Okay, during end of the year. Okay, but in El Nino year, which is like this year, we are expecting, as we are expecting El Nino, we also expecting that the warm water is not coming to us, but it is moving away to the east side, which is the America sides, and eventually the rain also it follows the warm water and not coming to Malaysia. Okay, so in El Nino year, we are expecting a hotter and drier Malaysia actually. Okay, yeah, so that actually bring to the heightened risk of droughts and also intense heat that could happen. And of course, if the things get worsen, we might see some wild forest fire as well. I believe if you come across some of the articles, I think just last week or last few days, Shah Alam just had a forest fire that got so intense that yeah. So basically, we are seeing the things getting drier right now, and the the weather itself is slowly going into the El Nino phenomena. Okay, yeah. So this El Nino, it actually happens every 2 to 7 years, and the very last El Nino year that we had is 2023 to 2024, which is around like 2 to 3 years ago. Okay, so so why how they can say that, why they are expecting that this year we're gonna have El Nino. Okay, so basically what the scientists or the meteorologists they do is they actually will go and um check, they determine whether we gonna have El Nino or not is based on the sea surface temperature. Okay, so if the sea surface temperature is higher above the normal temperature, okay, then we are expecting El Nino. And this year they are seeing that the sea surface temperature is gonna be 1.5 degrees Celsius higher than the normal temperature. That's why they are expecting an extremely strong El Nino gonna happen this year. Okay, and usually for El Nino, it gonna happens as we are moving near to end of the year, and the peak it could come somewhere around like around November, December. Okay, and prolong to the next year. That's why you can see at our topic we are putting El Nino 2026 to 2027. So to be exact, it will be somewhere around like last quarter 2026, and it extend all over to the whole year 2027 if the effect prolong. Okay, because it can really last for 6 to 18 months. Okay, yeah. So when El Nino it happens, for Malaysia wise, what we gonna how we gonna feel it is we gonna feel a very hot, a hotter, a drier weather, and also some of you guys might already start experiencing, which is we gonna have uh haze happening. Okay, yeah. So that's actually what started to happen right now already. Okay, as for Australia, India, they will have different phenomena, different patterns. Okay, like Australia wise might some bushfire, and in the South America it will be different because like I said, as the warm water it moved to America sites, they would have the rain will follow them, and they will have a wetter condition right over there, like the heavy rains and the floods that happening in South America. Okay, yeah. So, a number of countries and also areas gonna be affected by this El Nino, and hence from there, it gonna affect how, the countries and also the regions they experience. Okay, like for the past four major El Nino events in like in 97 to 98. Okay, we actually had a um one of the strongest haze and also drought happening in Southeast Asia, and also we are having food prices in food prices spiked in 2015 and 2016. Okay, yeah. So so for every 2 to 7 years, we're gonna feel this El Nino happening, and that actually affects how our lifestyle from agriculture, okay, all the way to the stock markets. So how does it happen actually? Okay, well, El Nino it's a weather pattern. It actually affects the well-being and also the of the agriculture, and also of the commodity prices. As the commodity prices varies and swing up or down drastically, it actually affects the corporate earnings and also the food security, which eventually it could lead to an inflation happening. Okay, and we know that when the inflation condition being been out of control, okay, central bank they might intervene with the interest rate changes, and of course that gonna affect the money. the money flow, money supply in the markets, and also the consumer spending as well, which eventually all this will contribute back to the stock markets. Okay, so although we are just seeing a weather pattern happening, okay, but a strong one that it creates such a drastic effect, it could really affect every single chain of this chain network chain reactions, and that would amplify and eventually put a very huge impact towards let it be our spending behavior or the stock markets. Okay, but of course, every single link, it takes time to develop and also happen. Okay, so as we are going through it, we don't really feel too much of pain. Okay, unless you are really into it, like holding some certain stocks, or for example, one of the key example is like, let's say if you are a food uh, manufacturer, okay, that's use a lot of palm oil. Okay, during that process, while others might not feel it, because for the cooking oil, it might the price might go up by 10 cents or 50 cents, but for you as a food processor or food manufacturer, the with the increase of the palm oil, with the cooking oil, all this, you will feel the pain. Feel the pain because it actually compress your profit margins, or even you might have problems sourcing the raw materials for your products. Okay, yeah. So that's what we're gonna talk about today, and focus on what could be the impact from this El Nino event. Okay, yeah. So like I mentioned, although this is just one weather pattern, okay, the impact of it could be huge, whereby it could lead to food inflation that just mentioned, okay, where the crop shortfalls, it could lead to higher price and also eventually lift grocery bills, where every single products eventually they hide up, okay, and go higher. All right. Okay, and at for certain countries like maybe Vietnam, like Malaysia, like Southeast Asia, Thailand, okay, we might have water shortage or even power shortage due to a drier weather and also even a drought happening. Okay, yeah, which that could lead to some shipping disruption to certain countries. Uh, okay, and of course, eventually, the chain reaction, it might lead to a GDP slowdown and also some government's policy responses towards all these changes. Okay, so if you Google through some of this impact of this El Nino, okay, I that the El Nino, based on some studies, some research studies that I came across, the El Nino impact, it could actually prolong and reflected on some select countries up even up to 5 years after El Nino. Okay, yeah. So that would be how long the lagging time it could be, and also eventually prolong affect the bigger picture macro economy in a longer term. Okay, yeah. So these are some of the examples that eventually they are coming out, and also being highlighted all around the world, that this El Nino, it could lead to some of these events like over at Mekong and over at Thailand. Okay, yeah. So as for Malaysia wise, okay, um, what we gonna expect is, definitely we not gonna expect we gonna our focus right over here will be more towards on the hotter sites and drier conditions, okay, where um one of our key commodities, which is the CPO, the crude palm oil, the palm FFP, it might be affected on this hotter weather. And with the hotter weather, it also could lead some of the change in the consumer patterns as well. Okay, And also during a hotter weather, while Malaysian we are very used to hot weather, but when the heat wave really hits, okay, yeah, it could lead to some lower efficiency of work, and also especially those work that's involve outdoor activities like constructions, okay, a lower productivity and lower efficiency as well, okay. uh, Last but not least, it might also affect the tourism demand, and also the tourist patterns as well during this El Nino timelines. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna develop into more details into some of these events, and we will try to see how El Nino gonna affect each of these sector, and also some of what are those opportunities that it could be arise. Okay, yeah. So as we are looking into the agriculture part, okay, some of the agriculture that could be affected by this El Nino, it will be for Malaysia wise, we will be very focused on the palm oil, okay, but and for US it will be soybean and corn. South America it will be coffee, sugar, and as for Thailand, India, it could be rice. Okay, so you can see, as El Nino is expected to happen, some of these commodity prices they started to started to price in and started to move. Okay, yeah. So after these sections, if you have time, if you are, or if you are even a commodity traders, or you're interested to trade some of these commodity futures contract of these commodities, you can go and research some of these commodities that listed right over here, and you will see some patterns that's developing. Okay, yeah. So besides the futures, besides on the commodity parts, okay, as for our stock equities markets, we some of the sectors that we will be paying attention as El Nino is developing will be focusing on plantations, okay, plantations and utilities. So these two are the major sectors that we're gonna focus, and also we think that it has the highest exposure towards the El Nino happenings. Okay, following that, we will be looking into consumer and constructions. Okay, others like industrial, transportation, technology, and healthcare. Yes, they could have certain impact towards it, but it will be at a much lower degree. Okay, yeah. So our focus today will be really focusing on plantation and utilities, and also gonna touch a little bit on the consumer as well. Okay, and we will see how this El Nino gonna affect some of these sectors. All right. Okay. So as we are looking into some of the sectors, okay, obviously we will have some of the winners and also losers. That's as El Nino it hits into the region, okay, and usually the commodities parts they will be the winner, okay, because most of time commodities they will have uh a lower supply, and also a bad crops forming during these changes of the weather patterns, okay, and hence that gonna lift up the commodity prices. Okay, so plantation wise, it will emerge as one of the key winners of El Nino. Okay, other than besides the plantation, then it will be on the utilities, which is the water and also the electricity related. Okay. Last but not least, the another one that we're gonna look into will be the consumer beverage. Okay, as we know, as during a hotter weather, the demand for the colder drinks and also the foods it will become higher. Okay, as for the loser wise, eventually can see most of it actually quite related to the consumer parts. Okay, so for the coming 6 to 9 months, if you gonna trade on consumer counters, consumer stocks, you might really want to be picky and also selective on the counters that you're gonna buy under your consumer sector. Okay, because for stocks like with the livestocks like the for example like poultry, okay, they might experience a higher price on the animal feeds, like corn, okay, they might experience a higher price, okay, and also some of the food producers like say they might experience a higher raw mats pricing, okay, and hence lead to a more compressed or margin squeeze in in all these coming quarters. Okay, and another one that could be affected will be aquaculture, whereby as we are seeing the temperature of the sea is being abnormal, that could affect the ecosystem for the fishes and also the streams as well. Okay, so we know that recent years we have the some of all these frozen seafood counters they have been going listing, so those are some of counters that you might want to look into it as well. But however, we know that most of these counters they are not being too actively traded lah. Okay, so I think even if you really look into it, the share price, the downside, the flooring is also quite limited as well. Especially for those counters that has been gone up high under these potential losers, you might want to be really careful. Okay, so for an easy illustration, for an easy following up, okay, so this is the page that I have already compiled and also make it for you guys to see the potential impact and also the history, the reactions on all these sectors as El Nino it happens. Okay, so we can see from this table, most of the time plantations they really outperform for most of the time, whereby utilities and also consumer, the reaction could is still skewed to the positive side, but sometimes it might be more muted. Okay, uh, as for the livestock and also aquaculture, we can see those are the sectors that are really being weak during this El Nino periods. Okay, yeah. So if you want, you can screenshot this page for your reference as we are going into the El Nino period by the end of the year. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna continue our sections with first looking into the plantations. Okay, so as mentioned just now, plantation mostly turn out to be the winners of this El Nino event, as we are expecting a lower rainfall, a drier weather during El Nino periods. Okay, um, all these planters they gonna experience um lesser rainfall and also they will have problem with the FFBU. Okay, during this period of time, we will gonna see the FFB output, the FFBU to drop and hence lead to a tightening inventories. Okay, so that is the reason why if you look into the FCPO chart right now, FCPO is going on a very strong uptrend nowadays, despite that we are still having a very high inventories, whereby in a normal day, when MPOB the monthly MPOB data, if when they are reporting a very high inventory, usually the CPO price will weaken and go lower. But for this case, for this year, things are different, Despite that, we are currently having a very high inventory at this moment, because usually during the second quarter to third quarter, we are having a very high production figure for uh, a CPU. This year, we still have a good production figure for CPU and also a very high inventory. But our CPU prices continue to go higher as the market is expecting of this El Nino event. Okay, so so right now we can see that as the as the price has really started to price in for the El Nino, okay, and also the CPU prices also CPU price is also actually getting higher ahead of the El Nino events. Okay, yeah. So what we kind of need to be more careful right over here is the lag effect that we're gonna experience. Okay, uh, because the El Nino, the dry weather that gonna happen today or gonna happen by the fourth quarter, it doesn't really show immediately on the pump production or on the inventory. Okay, yeah. So as we are seeing if the inventory numbers doesn't go down or the inventory able to meet demands of the CPO, okay, in let it be December or March 2027, the reaction of the price it could be different from what we are expecting actually. Okay, so for plantation this year is actually a little bit complicated as the price started to price in ready. Okay, we can see it more clearly as as it goes. Okay, so if we look into 1997 and 1998, okay, we can see as the El Nino it develops and also start moving from the second half of 1997, we are seeing the CPU prices has been going up and up very strongly. Okay, um, if we recall what happened back in 1997, 1998, during that time we still do not have internet. The market reactions and also the lagging in the information it could be terrible. Okay, so the pricing in effect of El Nino it could be much slower compared to today's. Okay, as we are seeing in 2015, 2016, or even in 2023. Okay, uh, you can see in 2023 to 2024, we still see the surge we still see the surge in the we still see the surge in the we still see the surge in the right over here, okay, at the near to the mid of the 2023. But eventually the price actually gone into choppy and sideways until until March of 2024 and also the end of the year of 2024. Okay, yeah, so this is the thing that I have been highlighting for the past 5 minutes, which in 2026 right now we are seeing the initial reaction of the CPO picking up, okay, which it happens every time when it comes to the mid of the year. This is the area where El Nino has already been identified. Okay, this is the timeline where the meteorologists they will come out, meteorologists they will come out and say, "Hey, everyone, we're gonna have El Nino." Okay, uh, we're gonna have El Nino, and we're expecting a drier weather. Okay, so in 1997, we can see that same thing. We had a surge, but the surge is sustained and continued and going up and up without any retracements. But as the technology pick up and also the information getting faster, same thing, we still have the surge as the El Nino being confirmed. Okay, but eventually we had quite some pullback. Okay, there's quite some pullback after the price has topped, after things has been priced in, and the effect it might be not as strong as we are expecting. Okay, and finally, as the lagging effect of the inventory it catch up, we had another surge again. Okay, and the thing it actually gone even worse in 2023 to 2024, whereby we also had the initial reactions, but the things got choppy and also some minor swings until the end of the year. Okay, yeah. So if we look into 2026 right now, okay, right over here what we are having right now is we are having the immediate impact of the reactions of confirming the El Nino. Okay, this is the surge that we are experiencing and we are seeing that happen for the past three El Nino events. Okay, but it doesn't mean that the CPO price or the plantation stocks price is gonna go up and up and up. Okay, yeah. So bear in mind, as if you are trading El Nino, okay, especially if you're trading CPO or if you are trading plantation stocks for El Nino, you really want to look into the charts and look into the how far the share price or the commodity price has moved before you enter. If it's already priced in and gone too high, okay, you might really want to wait for the pullback and look for the signals whereby the inventory of the CPO is depleting, is or the production figures has been bad, then only start to go in again. Okay, yeah. So why I emphasize so much on this is, one thing that I'm seeing, in my opinion, what I'm seeing is market is effective right now. This is an effective market, and market has really started to price in for a strong El Nino. Uh, okay, but it doesn't mean that we do not have any opportunity to make money out of it. We still have the opportunity to make money out of it, but we have to be selective on our counters and on our timing. Okay, yeah. So in our section today, I'm highlighting that market already start pricing in. If you want to trade right now, let it be CPO, let it be on plantation counters, you need to be aware that you are chasing high. Okay, so if we look into, you can see these are some of the articles that market has really been talking about since early. I think since early July, you can see the Age talk about El Nino lifting CPO prices before the production pain sets in next year, 2027. Okay, in 1st of July. And Kenanga, RHP, they have already put plantation stocks on overweight in July and August. Okay, yeah. Okay, so so if we look into the plantation index, we can see that the plantation stocks has been moving high and the price in is already happening. But don't worry, we still have chance to trade it. Uh, the very least thing is telling us that plantations stocks, they are going on an uptrend. What we need is we need to look for the correct timing. We need to be patient. We need to look for more confirmations and also the technical signals to get in. And during this process of waiting or looking for the better entry, this is also the time for us to do our homework and also identify which are the counters that you're gonna go in. Okay, and for those who are interested in commodity CPU, another part that you can look into, it could be the pump calendar spreads. That it might provide some of the good opportunity as well. Okay, yeah. So today what I'm putting up right over here is highlighting the the uptrend or the the spotlight gonna be on the plantation for from right now all the way until the mid or even the end of 2027. There are still a lot of opportunities gonna arising in this sector, and what we need to do is we need to be aware right now and also get prepared as the opportunity comes. Okay, so what are the sector that will be good to trade? Okay, so if you look into the plantation sector itself, basically, what are the things that you need to be aware of is what is their estate size and also the age, the average age of their tree. Whether their tree is at the younger immature phase, or most of their tree is at the prime age, or they are actually trying to go into replanting. Okay, so it's very important to know what is their average age of their plantations, of their trees, and from there you will able to see able to gauge the impact of this El Nino towards that. Okay, and other than that, you also really want to understand whether the plantation companies that you pick, are they are they integrated, are they fully integrated planters, or are they just focusing on upstream or upstream midstream? Okay, yeah, because if we are trading along with the CPO prices, we really want to focus on those which are really pure upstream, because those pure upstream plantation companies, they tends to be more sensitive towards the CPO price. Okay, because they just dealing um with the pump price only ma. Okay, so that's why you will see us uh, you will see, while they are keeping their cost fixed, okay, but the margin from a higher CPO price will be double or even triple, hence lift up their profit margins. Okay, as for those um that have downstream, their profits might be dragged or might be affected by their downstream activities. Okay, for example, for those that are quite integrated, fully integrated one, it will be like SDG, Santa Bigger Tree, it will be KLK, Genting Plantations, or even IOI Corp. Okay, but if you really want to focus and trade along with this CPO uptrend, CPO movement, okay, then you might want to focus on Hapsing Plantations or even Inno Price. Okay, but Hapsing Plantation and Inno Price, they might have some liquidity trading liquidity issue, and you might able only trade with a smaller trading size. Okay, uh, and also as the El Nino develop, for those who are interested to trade plantation, you also want to look into which area are being affected the most. Okay, like for example, in 2023, 2024, Sabah really got hit really badly. Okay, whereby for those planters, they have most of their estate at Sabah, okay, they could be least benefited from it, because their FFPU could be the worst among all other areas. Okay, like compared to Indonesia, compared to Sarawak, okay, or compared to Semenanjung. Okay, so this table right over here, I compile it for you guys so that you guys can have an idea some of these plantation companies, what are their age and what are their focus. Okay, so if this year, if Indonesia is the one that being hit really bad, okay, then you might see counters like United Plantation or even Genting Plantations, which has quite some exposure in Indonesia. They might not perform as strong as others. Okay, as for Hapsing and also Inno Price, they are very much based on Sabah, and Sarawak Plantations, Sarawak Oil Palm, Ta'an wise will be on the Sarawak sites. Okay, and Johor Plantations, they are mainly in their estate mainly will be in Johor and also Pahang. Okay, so these are some of the information that you worth you to develop research further, and from there you might really want to plan it out and also prepare your plans, how you're gonna trade it, as the as El Nino develops. Okay, so today, just for sharing and also illustration purposes, okay, I'm gonna put up some of the historical movements of some of these plantation companies, how they have been reacting to El Nino for the for the past years. Okay, so you can see for IOI Corp wise, we are seeing the spikes as El Nino being confirmed, but eventually the share price is, it actually had a quite a drastic pullback before a minor rebound. And it has been really choppy for the 2023 and 2024. Okay, for this timeline of El Nino. Okay, but one thing that one similarity that they shared is as the El Nino being confirmed. Okay, usually it's like that like this time also somewhere around like June July of the year they had a spike. Okay, you can see they had a spike in June, July. Okay, yeah. So similarly on Hapsing plantations, you can see the spikes in June, July. Okay, the selling down and the spikes. Okay, and also the June, July when it comes to June, July spike, and also the end of the year as the CPO ramp up. Okay, so you can see for Hapsing plantation wise, the movement is more tracking more closely to the CPO price. Okay, so that's why I said Hapsing plantation for those upstream plantation companies, the share price movement will be more reactive and also more sensitive to the CPO prices. Okay, so that would be for the plantation parts. Okay, the second theme that we're gonna look into it will be the utilities. Okay, so as mentioned, um, utilities will be another sector that having a higher exposure towards this El Nino event, where we will be seeing lower supply on the water. The water level could be go lower, and also a higher demand for the electricity. Especially right now, since 2024, we are seeing numbers of data center projects being kickstarts, and also we are expecting the government is also expecting a high consumptions as data centers start um functioning and start rolling up. Okay, yeah. So with El Nino is coming into the picture by the end of this year or even 2027, we should expect the consumption on the electricity and the electricity, but it would be high. It will be higher on the air conditioning and also let it be residential or even for the mall and also for the uh, commercial area. Okay. Meanwhile, we are also seeing the hydro power generations wise, it will have a lower contributions. Hence, during this period of time, we should see a more emphasis and more eyes on solar. Okay, solar renewable energy related counters and also some IPP as well. Okay, so these are some of the electricity and also IPP solar related counter under the electricity tab. And as for the water, okay, um, these are some of the counters that we are looking at. Okay, so if we look into the chart wise, okay, so the articles on the heightened demand of the electricity and also the water levels. Okay, data center expected to use a huge number of waters. Okay, but at this as beginning of this year, the usage is still um very low. Okay, as most of the data centers, they are not fully functioning yet. They are still on the building phase, but getting to near to the completions. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you can see as much we already start seeing some of the water levels has been coming below the 70% of the dams. Okay, but one thing to be feel fortunate is as the technology advancements happening and also the quicker message delivery, government they are actually preparing for the El Nino. Okay, but in the event if the El Nino really much stronger uh, than what expected, then still we still might have some water stress happening during the period El Nino period. Okay, yeah. So if we look into the chart wise, we can see that the share price it reacted positively towards El Nino. Okay, uh, towards El Nino. Okay, uh, all right. But for the 2023-2024 wise, I wouldn't suggest that this to be a real reference because 2023-2024 those are the time where data center project starts kicking in and that actually really ramp up the demand and also the expectation demand of electricity and also the water. Okay, uh, so you can see from YTL power wise, 16, 17, 15 to 16 El Nino, it wasn't that performing actually. Okay, as for 2023 to 24, it's really ramp up crazily, mainly on the data center. Okay, but for PBA wise, which providing the water concession for the Penang site, we are seeing they are reacting positively, and even right now we are seeing the ramping up on the share price already start moving higher and breaking out from the consolidations. Okay, all right. Okay, so utilities is one of the sector that we want to look into it, but we really have to bear in mind that 2023 might not be the right reference. Okay, but believe that the demand is likely to remain strong, especially as some of the data center they are near completion and it will ramp up the demand. Okay, last but not least, the thematic, the sector that we're gonna look into will be the consumer. Okay, yeah, so um these are the 6 areas of consumers that I think will be the winner out from this El Nino event. Okay, mainly it will be on the beverage sides. Okay, with a higher demand and water consumptions. Okay, following that, so it could we could see higher footfall into convenience retail to get the water, gets get some coating like cold drinks or even ice cream, uh, and also higher footfall in the mall F&B outlets, all this air conditioned area. Okay, uh, so for commercial and also even for residential home, we might see a higher demand for some cooling appliances and also the air conditioning system. Okay, uh, and last but not least, the reaction could be mixed for tourism, because with the hot weather, we might see if we really being hit very badly on the heat wave, then we might see a lower tourism. But if the thing is still okay, but it's still hot, then we might see some of us might try to a higher a more frequent visit or even more tourist visitors going to Genting Highland for a cooler place in Malaysia. Okay, yeah. So some of the companies that related and go into some of these products or these subsectors, it will be like Spritzer, Life Water, FNN under the beverage. Okay, then ice cream wise, we will have Farm Fresh, have Nestle, all this. Okay, yeah. So I have put in some of the counters that came along under all these subsectors, and for air conditioning system and appliances wise, iSense and West River it will be more towards uh the air conditioning system, while Panami, Chuku it will be more into the residential or the retail sites. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As for the malls wise, if you are seeing you want to put into some into REITs, expecting more visits to the mall all this next year, then some of these that you could consider will be like IGB REITs or for Mid Valley Gardens, Sun REITs for Sunway related malls, and also Pavilion REITs as well. Okay. Okay, so last but not least, um, I put up some of this counter that has been long enough to capture uh, the impact from the two times of the El Nino. Okay, first will be on the Spritzer. We can see the Spritzer has been going on the uptrend for the first 15 to 16 El Nino. Okay, it has been going on a strong uptrend, and also in 23 to 24, it also going on a strong uptrend. Okay, and as for right now, we are seeing the breakout of the 3 ringgits, and the trend just started to extend further. Okay, from here. Uh, Then we have FNN over here. Okay, we have FNN that's making a very strong uptrend. Okay, in 2016 and also in 2023, but eventually the share price fall off in 2020, somewhere around like mid near to the mid 2024. Okay, yeah. So FNN wise, unlike Sprizzle, it is trying to test towards the 24 ringgit support over here. Okay, it's still in the potential basing area about 24 to 28 levels. Okay, so if you are technical traders, um, you if you want to look into it, you might want to look into it if the buying interest in FNN come and leave the share price above 28 or even to break out of the 30 levels, okay, to react towards it to trade along with the trend. Okay, and this one is Nestle. Okay, Nestle wise, Nestle wise, one thing interesting about Nestle is it uh Nestle have quite a varieties of products whereby where the share price it's reacted positively in 15 to 16, but the share price also reacted very negatively in 23 to 24. Okay, one of the reason that's what's leading to the selling down in Nestle in 23 to all the way to 25th, it could be due, I think it's due to the some of the banning of their products. Okay, and that led to a very uh weak number of weak sales figure reported during this period of time. Okay, so that's the additional factors to be that affected the share price during this period of time. Okay. All right. Okay. So, before we end the sections, okay, I've I have compiled everything into this metrics to share with you guys what are those positive impacts that we are expecting, and especially the two that we are really focusing a lot will be on the plantations and also the utilities. Okay, uh, meanwhile the negative wise will be on the food processor and also some of the manufacturing parts. Okay, and so what you can do after today's sections, after today's sharing is not like okay, today I heard Elky talking about this El Nino, and tomorrow I'm just gonna jump in and buy some plantation stocks or even some consumer stocks or even some electricity, utilities, water related counters. Okay, but I would say that you might really want to build your watch list and also decided which are the sectors that you are confident with it and you are seeing uh stronger catalyst out of this besides of this El Nino events. Okay, this El Nino events and the impact it could be if the sector is really strong riding on its current catalyst or the company itself is really growing, this El Nino effect could be amplified and also ramp up the share price in a much stronger way. Okay, it could be like a plus reasoning or a plus factor towards this company to perform even better. Okay, but if the company itself fundamental is weak, and or the sector itself is not doing well, the impact from this El Nino, it could be really minimal as well. Okay, so do bear in mind in this for this for this aspect. Okay, and from there, based on that, and build your watch list, and from there monitor and also track how the climate, how the signal commodity prices they have been reacting. And once you are more firm and validated the hypothesis, okay, then you might want to start scaling in based on your technical setup, your technical signals. So if you do not know what kind of technical setup or what kind of signals that you should be looking into from the charts or from the price itself, do always feel free to look for us. Okay, or even look into some of our previous past videos. We have been sharing a lot of webinars, technical webinars, to share with our audience and also clients how to find a high probability technical setup to get in and get out. Especially, let it be you want to trade along with the trend or you want to trade against the trend. Okay, accumulation signals, the trend following signals, all this we also got in our past videos. So if you, after the video, you still not convinced, you still not firm, okay, do feel free to look for our dealers. All our dealers are trained and professional to share with you and guide you through. All right, okay, yeah. So that would be the phase four. Okay, so most investor, they, after the section, all this thing, they will be impatient and straight away jump into the trading parts. Okay, but in order to be profitable, in order to really make money, okay, we know that all these preparation works are really vital and really mandatory to do it, okay, before really go in and trade it. All right, okay, and of course you do not want to forget about to that you want to set up a daily routine to monitor your share, your portfolio, and also manage it accordingly. All right. Okay. Yeah. So last but not least, before I end the section today, okay. So what could go wrong? Okay. So we can see that as based on our example on the plantation CPO, okay, we can see that some of these counters, some of these commodity prices, they really start pricing in for the super El Nino. Okay. So if the impact on the El Nino has been not as strong as what we are, as the meteorologists they are expecting, okay, the share price, it might reacting in a different way or even in opposite directions. Okay, so you do want to follow closely from NOA on the forecast, or even to see if we are having the rains to returns early. Okay, uh and all this, it could be really affects the demand and also uh the price reactions, especially for those commodities or counters that already pricing in for the El Nino. Okay, and last but not least, not to forget is there could be possible some government intervention as well. Okay, like in 2023, 2024, we have intervention from Indonesia. Is it Indonesia or India? Okay, I sorry, I don't remember, but it's either Indonesia or in India. They intervened. I think it's India intervened on the banning of the rice export, and that actually that actually affects the whole market. Okay, yeah. So the announcement, if there's any export bans, all this thing, it would really affect the price as well. Okay, yeah. So these are some of the areas, some of the things that you might really want to closely when you're trading this El Nino. Okay, yeah. So thank you for joining for our session. If you have any questions, do feel free to put in the chat box. Okay, in the chat box, and we can explore and look into it. Okay, for today. Okay, so I, from the chat itself, uh I can see that Sebastian is asking about United Plantation. Okay, United Plantation is one counter that's have a little bit more it is an integrated uh plantation company as well. It have upstream, it have downstream, and it has quite a number of exposure. While it most of the exposure is still in Malaysia, it also build up some of the exposure in Indonesia, but mostly will be still in Malaysia. Okay, so we can see that recently United Plantation. Okay, let me pull up United Plantation price, share price. Okay, we can see recently United Plantation share price has been coming down from the top. Okay, uh, so despite unlike other plantation companies, the share price has been going up, and now United Plantation share price actually has been coming down from the 35 ringgit high all the way to 30 to close at 31.88 right now. Okay, so if you are trading United Plantations, you know that their earnings result wasn't that great, mainly due to their downstream segments where they are expecting uh the some of the profits or some of the profit lagging in their downstream segment, which only gonna be reflected by next quarter. Okay, and also coupling with United Plantation being removed from the MSCI member. Okay, I believe this selling down right over here that happening over here for the past weeks, it is mainly due to this reason, and we are seeing some of the disposal from the funds as well. Okay, so that's the reason why we are seeing a stronger selling happening on United Plantation, despite that most other plantation companies they have been reacting positively. Okay, so if you are looking into United Plantations, then you might want to look into the support area somewhere around 28 to 30 ringgits. These are the area if you are uh convinced with the impact from the El Nino. Okay, these are the areas that might be a good area for the accumulations, or even buy accumulations. Okay, yeah, or look for the rebound signal to engage with it. Okay, all right. So, any other questions from the floor? Okay, if there's no other questions, then we're gonna end our section today. Okay, so if you have any questions or any things that you want to ask after the sections, you can always scan this QR code, and then it will lead to our page, and you can always drop us a message right over there. All right. Okay, so that will be end of the our section today, and thank you very much for joining in our section. And if you like our section, do feel free to share our videos, and also scan us to follow us. Thank you very much, and have a good night.